Why read the news when you can watch it? Introducing SKN Newsline, the Federation's only online TV news platform. SKN Newsline is an online TV news platform covering news in St. Kitts and Nevis. We provide a daily and accurate news on the big stories and stories of interest that other media outlets have ignored. You can watch SKN Newsline on our website, www.sknnewsline.com, or Facebook page at www.fb.com/SKN Newsline, and also subscribe to our SKN Newsline YouTube channel. SKN Newsline, your world, your news.
Attorney General Vincent Barron has said the government has begun the process to appeal the diplomatic passport case involving former Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas. Mr. Barron made this disclosure at a recent press conference of the Prime Minister at government headquarters.
He was found not to be in breach. We accepted that decision of the High Court judge, but in consultation with senior counsel, we were advised and we have determined to pursue it further, and we have filed an appeal to the Court of Appeal. We have subsequently filed an application for an expedited appeal, which was heard some 2 weeks ago by a single judge in St. Lucia, who has granted that application, and so we await the Court of Appeal to determine a date when that expedited appeal would be heard.
Mr. Barron insisted that the government has a case to prove that Dr. Douglas, possessing a diplomatic passport from the Commonwealth of Dominica, is in breach of the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis.
And we expect that that question will be answered. It is an important question because if the judgment as handed down here stands, it means that every member of Parliament on any side of the aisle, whether in opposition or the government, can have a passport from any island in the Caribbean who is a friendly government. One of the bases on which we were told that Dr. Douglas did not show any allegiance to Dominica, the country in which he has a diplomatic passport, was that he was granted a political courtesy by a former colleague, Prime Minister colleague. It would seem as though our Prime Minister, when he went to St. Vincent the other day, could have been granted a political courtesy and have a St. Vincent passport. I wouldn't accept. But I would hope not.
The Attorney General is confident the government side will prevail in this appeal and is hoping the matter will be brought up as soon as possible.
We believe that the framers of the Constitution saw somebody who showed an allegiance to a foreign state, had divided loyalty, and could not fully represent St. Kitts and Nevis and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So that is a matter under appeal. We wait to hear when that date would be set. We expect it to be done shortly, and we would inform you when that does happen.
In February, the High Court dismissed the case brought against the opposition leader, Dr. Denzil Douglas, that claimed by possessing and using a diplomatic passport from Dominica, he was found in breach of Section 28 of the Constitution, which claims he was in allegiance to a foreign power and as such cannot be a member of the National Assembly. Justice Trevor Ward, in his ruling, found that Dr. Douglas obtained the diplomatic passport solely as a gesture of political and professional courtesy extended to him in his capacity as former Prime Minister. He also contended that under Dominican law, the voluntary act of acquiring and using a diplomatic passport by a non-citizen does not place the holder under an acknowledgement of allegiance or adherence or obedience to Dominica within the said section of the Constitution. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Vincentian broadcaster and journalist Jerry George does not buy the explanation from Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, who recently earned the ire of supporters of the opposition National Democratic Party NDP in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. George was speaking Tuesday on SK Newsline's sister radio station Voice of the Caribbean Radio during the program Let's Talk St. Kitts and Nevis.
Do you think that his explanation
in other words, do you buy his explanation, or is it a case of political naivety, for lack of a better term?
Nobody buys it. But, I mean, having said all of that, I mean, people make mistakes, and I want to accept that fact. But nobody buys the explanation, quite frankly. It just does not add up. If you are somebody's guest and you need to see them, it is the host who should make sacrifice to see the guests. The host should accommodate the guests, not the guests going out of their way to accommodate the host. It doesn't work like that. But let me tell you what the big issue is, because all of that has happened, and I see it happening with a lot of our leaders and stuff. Our leaders seem to want to travel around with either without public relations support or protocol support. And I have a problem with that. Our leaders must understand that they are leaders of the nations, and when they go about, they should work with the appropriate staffing to help them. I'm sure if he had a second person to say, should I do this, they would have cautioned him. But most of our leaders go about the place, they work with no PR support, they work with no protocol people, and so they run into problems.
Prime Minister Harris, while in St. Vincent, recently was photographed on the stage with Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves at a Unity Labour Party meeting. He claimed he needed to see Prime Minister Gonsalves urgently, and the only time and place he could do so was during the ULP's meeting on the platform. NDP supporters were not happy with this because they supported Dr. Harris along with the then leadership of the NDP when Harris's Team Unity movement was in opposition and was protesting the non-tabling of the motion of no confidence in 2014. Team Unity was on the ground in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and had the support of NDP supporters who protested outside the location of a CARICOM Heads of Government meeting to get regional support for their protest. Mr. George, in Tuesday's interview on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, said NDP supporters were really angry with what transpired recently, and that it is clear Harris made a mistake.
So it is accepted that Mr. Harris said he made an error, and so people want to go on from there. Because at the end of the day in the Caribbean, we're a small space and we have to work together. So it's not that anybody did not want to work together. But I believe that when our leaders or whoever makes these errors, it needs to be brought to them, to their attention, for them to understand the gravity of what has happened.
Mr. George interviewed Dr. Harris after the incident, where they also discussed allegations of nepotism. In that interview, Dr. Harris reiterated the point that all his family members were hired under the Labour administration. The Labour Party claims there have been new appointments and promotions of Harris's family members since he became Prime Minister. Mr. George said in the Voice of the Caribbean radio interview that he does not believe Harris's explanation.
And there's a very solid biblical position on this. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. So people go down on the road, oh, so what is lawful is this and that, but all things are not expedient, because those are the very things that sometimes appear lawful, and I can do it, that leave you into deeper trouble, the expediency of the matter. So did I believe him? No. Did I think because you come from a big family and so many members of your family in a leading position is a good thing for a country, a small country? No.
The full interview with Mr. George can be heard on demand at www.voiceofthecaribbean.net in VOC On Demand. I am Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
How does it feel when you got that feeling?
Come together, how you feel when everything nice, how you feel when you're up on your ends with your friends, everybody holding a vibe now, how you feel when things come together, how you feel when everything nice, how you feel when you savor the flavor, the feeling you get when you taste everybody.
So good when you get that meal, so good is the way you feel, so good at the time of day, so good is what you say, when you dance all night, so good it tastes just right, so good the place to be, so good it's KFC.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're fully covered after an accident. The security of your home and everything in it that means so much to you. And knowing that even when the weather does its worst, you and your family are covered. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Meridian Medical Pharmacy is the best place to get your pharmaceutical products. We make filling prescriptions easy. Our well-stocked pharmacies are ready to serve you. Check us for medical supplies, skin products, supplements, and so much more. Ask about flu vaccines. At Meridian Medical Pharmacy, we are focused on offering a professional, personalized pharmacy experience. Our service is personal, compassionate, and friendly. Located at our state-of-the-art medical facilities at the corner of South Independence Square Street and Adlam Street, in downtown Bastyr, St. Kitts. And now we have a new branch on Frigate Bay Road in the Sugars Complex. Call 465-5096 and 465-3306 or email pharmacy@meridianmedcons.com. Visit Meridian Medical Pharmacy today and experience professional, customer care and fast prescription fill-in service. Meridian Medical Pharmacy. After their exploits in Curacao and the Caribbean Club Shield, Rams Village superstars return to local football in fine style by dispatching Saul Island Auto Supply's Connery FC 2-0 in the 2019 Easter Cup semi-finals on Thursday. Dennis Fleming scored in the 69th minute for Village, and Tyrone Hanley scored from the penalty spot in the 72nd minute to knock the two-time defending Easter Cup champs out of the competition. Both teams were reduced to 10 men after Mervyn Lewis of Connery was sent off after receiving a second yellow card in the 33rd minute, and Joseph Wilkes of Village was sent off with a straight red card in the 56th minute for serious foul play using excessive force. Coach Stephen Clark of Village said the layoff while they participated in the Caribbean Club Shield was not a deterrent to their performance in the local competition. Village made it to the quarterfinals of the regional competition before returning home.
I don't think we was really fatigued. Actually, we didn't plan about for 5 days now. So I think the players had a good rest and it was really waiting to go. And the long rest showed because we started flat really, didn't get into a game. But we got in the game early and then started to play weekend of football and the results showed.
What does it mean to still be in a contention for a cup? You're on the top of the Premier League table, you're more or less qualified for the playoffs, and you already have a cup in the bag.
That's what football all about, playing for cup. And Village love to play for cup. Once you get there and you get a feeling, you always want to win, And that's the players them feeling. They want to win this one. Last season, you got away from us, so we definitely wanted this one tonight.
Having already defended their Carnival Cup title for the third straight time and are in the finals of the Easter Cup and the FA Cup, while still on course to defend their Premier League title, Coach Clark was asked whether he felt his team can win a quadruple set of titles this season.
One game at a time, Huey, one game at a time.
Meanwhile, Coach Alexis Morris of Connery believes some of the calls in the game went against them, but commended the fighting spirit of his players.
We have them again on Saturday. It is more crucial that we come to play for 3 points. If you look at what has been happening to us in the third round, we have been playing some good football as of late, and so we just have to continue to play. I know that we're going to take off tomorrow. We're going to come back and we're going to hopefully come back again and give the fans, give everybody, the supporters, the sponsors, everybody a very good game. And hopefully at the end of it on Saturday, we'll get the 3 deserving points that we so required.
Village will take on first-time finalist Fast Cash Saddlers in the finals of the 2019 Easter Cup on Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. at the Warner Park. Meanwhile, the results of the Women's Final Four played on Thursday at the Warner Park, Saul Island Auto Supplies Connery defeated Bath United 9-0. Goals coming from Alujide Bridgewater in the 1st minute, Kiwandre McCall in the 11th minute, Shervis Edwards in the 12th minute, Tarvia Phillips scoring 5 goals in the 3rd, 5th, 16th, 17th and 21st minutes, and Zadina Shari in the 20th minute. The match ended prematurely in the 23rd minute as Bath United did not have the required number of players to continue the match. Meanwhile, at the Keon playing field, the match was abandoned in the 47th minute of play due to a power outage. The score was 1-0 in favor of Escrave Newtown United at the time the game ended. Minister responsible for the Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, Mr. Eugene Hamilton, announced on Monday a salary increase for 3 categories of workers at the corporation. The minister disclosed during a general staff meeting of the SWMC at the corporation's headquarters in Taylor's Range that the increase will benefit some 65 workers.
Starting from the 1st of April, a few weeks ago, those 3 categories that I mentioned, and I think the chairman mentioned the the number 65, I heard him say, those 3 categories will see their salaries change because they'll be put into the new organization, in the new chart structure, the new salary scales, and in each case, everyone will see a top-up. For some of you, it might be a little bit more than a top-up, but it's a top-up nonetheless.
The minister said he made the recommendation to the board and management of the SWMC to adjust the wages of the categories of workers after what he called walking a mile in their shoes. In January, after the new garbage trucks were first commissioned, Minister Hamilton worked a few hours as a loader on one of the new garbage trucks in his constituency to get a first-hand experience of what the work entails and the challenges the workers go through in performing their duties.
And so it was a joy for me on that morning to go and handle some of that garbage. But I must be honest with you, it caused me to make an instant change in how things were working in my mind. Because the very first garbage bin that I took up and decided to dump that garbage, not only was this scent outrageous, but there were some maggots screaming all over the place. Serious set of maggots. And I said, what is this? This is the condition in which my people work. My goodness. And so I decided, you know what? What can I do to give you some encouragement to continue in this really messy task, but important task? And so I asked the board and the management to look at the prospects of treating with adjustments in wages for at least 3 categories of workers: those who drive the trucks, those who sweep the drain, and those who work in the landfill.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Board of Directors, Mr. Ivan Hanley, expressed gratitude to the staff for their hard work and said that the board and management are working to continue to improve their working experience. He also disclosed that due to the improved financial performance of the corporation, the $1.5 million annual subsidy from the government has been withdrawn, which means the SWMC will now have to work hard to ensure its good financial performance continues.
For the past 20 years, the corporation has been subsidized by the government. As a matter of fact, we were given $1.5 million per year. However, the financial secretary and her team, they have reviewed our performance and our accounting, and they have deemed that the corporation now can stand on its own. So we are no longer getting that $1.5 million. That's good and that's bad. It is good from the perspective that they have seen that we have improved, they have seen that we are more responsible, and they see that we're taking the business of solid waste seriously. However, it means that we have to work harder internally to make up for that 1.5 million that we were accustomed or became accustomed to receiving from the government.
On Monday, some of the workers received their letters from the minister indicating the salary increase. At Monday's general staff meeting, the SWMC used the opportunity to update staff on the progress in the various departments. Subsequent reports on this meeting will be released in the coming days.
In today's world, so many ordinary businesses pass themselves off as something special. But what's really special is what you're looking for. Don't settle for anything less. Inspiring women to be their own kind of beautiful. Offering a comfortable place to shop for quality products and excellent service. We have everything you need. Looking for fashion? We have top quality jewelry. For makeup? We have them. Black Opal, Revlon, perfume, and much more. Lucky Cosmetics Hair and Beauty Supply Store. We carry an extensive collection of hair and beauty products to look your best. We are located at the Circus Taxi Stand, Bastille St. Kitts. Call us at 869-466-7541.
SL Horsford St. Paul's, Sol Island Auto Supplies Connery FC, Flow 4GK Rockets, and Hobson Enterprises Garden Hotspurs were all victors on the weekend in the SKNFA National Bank Premier League. Flow 4GK Rockets edged Atiba Harris St. Peter's 1-0 on Saturday night at the Warner Park Football Stadium. The goal came very early in the match as Vince Roy Nelson found the back of the net in the 3rd minute. Assistant coach of Keon, Jazza Buchanan, said the victory was a welcome sign for the team as they have now racked up 2 wins in a row.
Some of the senior guys begin to come back, and we're not getting so much injury as what we used to get before, so we still take every time come back. Well, it's a big plus for us to hear that this is the first time we have won 2 games on a straight. We have been winning and losing and enjoying and so, but this is the first time we win 2 on a straight, so this is a big plus for us. We just work more on and try going to the next game.
Coach Azim Jenkins of St. Peter's said his players failed to convert the chances, and it's time his team begins scoring goals if they wish to succeed.
I would say the mistakes, man. We made a simple mistake. We had a few chances here and there. We let them slip by, and it was a tough loss, man. It's a tough loss.
Oh, you still have some more games to go in the round, and you're pushing to try to meet the playoff spot. What do you need to do right to get it?
You need to cut out the mistakes and score goals. That's why we need to go and just play 90 minutes of football. Too many times we got patches where we got dead, and we get punished for those times. So we just need to improve that.
In the weekend's other results, SL Horsford St. Paul's defeated KFC United Old Road Jets 2-0. Keith Roy Freeman scored in the 8th minute for St. Paul's and Kalonji Clark in the 33rd minute. On Sunday, Hobson Enterprises Garden Hotspurs demolished Fashcast Saddlers 4-0. Keyshawn Francis scored in the 2nd minute for the Spurs, Akio Benjamin in the 21st minute, Raheem Davis in the 27th minute, and Kennedy Isles in the 29th minute. And the final match on the weekend, Sol Island Auto Supplies Connery FC edging out Mantab 3-2. Lenroy Samuel scored 2 goals for Connery in the 16th and 61st minute, the first of that goal being a penalty, and Mervyn Lewis scoring a 3rd goal in the 56th minute. But Mantab made a fight back with Azim James in the 52nd minute and Sylvester Alexander scoring a penalty in the 84th minute. The match between Rams Village Superstars and Esgrave Newtown United was postponed due to Village's participation in the Caribbean Club Shield in Curacao. Village will resume Premier League action soon as they were knocked out at the quarter-final stage of the competition, losing to club Robin Hood from Suriname 4-3 on penalties last Thursday. The match drew 1-1 after regulation time after goals from Tahir Hanley of Village in the 11th minute and Alan Cirilio da Costa of Robin Hood in the 62nd minute.